Hello and welcome to the Two Dyspraxics, episode 6. I am Matthew Munson.
And I'm Barbara Neill.
And today we're going to be talking about the definition of dyspraxia. So I'm having to look down at my notes at the same time I was talking to you. So if you see my eyes wander, you'll know why. We're going to be talking about dyspraxia and basically a definition of dyspraxia. On our Facebook page, one of our followers asked that question: how do we define dyspraxia? Is there a formal definition of it?
Well, I'm sure there are several definitions, but when someone says to you, what exactly is dyspraxia, that's when...
So it catches you out. How do you define it?
I struggle, normally. I struggle because even on today, I'm actually having quite a bad dyspraxia day where I'm really struggling to put one thought in front of another. But even on a good day, I find it very, very difficult to define in sort of conversational terms, if you like, in a way that really makes sense and really gets the message across because it's so complex.
Yeah, so, absolutely.
I mean, I do generally start off by saying it's a coordination disorder, but there's an awful lot more to it than that because, by saying a coordination disorder, I then sort of sometimes say it used to be known as clumsy child syndrome, but that's really just the tip of the iceberg. It's a lot more complex than that. So
yeah, absolutely. And I think for me, I always get frustrated myself if I get asked a question because to me it's more a case of what I've left out than what I've actually kind of mentioned.
Right.
And I always walk away thinking, well, yeah, what I've said is kind of true, but I've missed out this, I've missed out that. I normally say something probably similar to Barbara in that it's a coordination disorder, affects balance and coordination and fine motor skills and gross motor skills and blah 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 and short-term memory and all that kind of thing. I had forgotten that one, so that proves it. So it's always kind of things, and it's kind of and I say it's neurological as well because it affects memory, it affects thought processes,
organisational skills,
and so I will remember to say perhaps 3 or 4 of those things, walk away and think, damn it, I focused too much on the physical or too much on the psychological, and actually it's more than that. And I always feel like I've kind of explained half the issue to the person who's asking me the question, and then I've kind of left them almost with the wrong perception of it because I haven't explained all of it.
I think possibly it's very, very difficult to put it into a nutshell so that someone else can understand, and that's what we're up against. Because I can easily do a sort of 3-hour training session on dyspraxia awareness, so that goes into helping people to get some sort of inkling about how it feels to have dyspraxia, because I do quite a lot of interactive stuff.
But then you can do that. I've never seen one of your courses, but you've described them to me, and I think because you're a dyspraxic person yourself, you know what it's like to walk a mile in those shoes, as it were. But if you've got kind of non-dyspraxic people, and it has been known, trying to either deliver a course or and it's lovely that they're engaging and want to help, and that's the more support the better, because if you haven't got dyspraxia, it's you can only see it from an outsider's point of view. You're not an expert by experience is how I feel it. As a non-dyspraxic trainer, they know the theory. Hopefully they know the theory.
Well, yes.
Hopefully they know the theory.
Not always, I think.
No, very true. But they can't kind of say this is how it feels to be dyspraxic because they don't know.
Exactly, and something I always find in the course of my courses is people are always very interested to know how my experience is. So well, does it mean that you can feel like this or you feel like that? And I can actually tell them, well, this is how it affects me. Always careful to explain that that different people have different experiences of dyspraxia as well, which adds to the complication of trying to get the message across to other people, of course.
Yeah.
But
I think that's the thing, isn't it? Sorry, let's say because it is a spectrum.
Yeah.
It's and I think you and I were saying actually in one of our previous vlogs, or possibly before the vlog, that even you and I are at different points on the spectrum, aren't we, of dyspraxia? Even our diagnoses. Yes, we're both dyspraxic, but Barbara's dyspraxia is slightly different to my dyspraxia, who is slightly different to the next dyspraxic person, which could be our good friend Tom, who we mentioned in our previous vlog. So that's a difficulty in the sense of it's not. I don't know how Barbara's dyspraxia entirely affects hers and vice versa because we have different degrees of it. Although we have more empathy, I think, for each other because we suffer.
Certainly, and I mean there are certain situations that come up, and like when I arrived today, what was it? I can't remember now. I've forgotten. I know there was something I said when I arrived, but you'll understand that, you know what it means, and it's so refreshing to be able to say.
You'd forgotten, you were halfway through the story. That's it, you'd forgotten
I got my camera, and oh dear me, there were.
But that's the beauty of it, I think, because we're both dyspraxics. You know, you can say to me, "Oh, I meant to bring the camera with me today, completely forgot." I'll go, "Yeah, okay, I understand why."
Yeah.
Because we've got the empathy, and that's not to say that I think non-dyspraxic people can't sympathise with us and sometimes what we've got, but they can't empathise, and
Exactly.
and that's I think that's the difference. It's not to me trying to exclude anyone, but at the same point, it's trying to say actually, if you want a definition of dyspraxia or you want an explanation of dyspraxia, best people to ask are the people with the condition, because you can get the books about it, you can get the research, and they can give you the lovely scientific names, developmental control disorder, and all this, and that's lovely for a scientific discussion. But the scientific discussion doesn't impact on our personal experiences, you know, and how do you explain it to the person next door, or our parents, or our siblings, or our children, or our friends? You know, I can't. From my point of view, I can't go to someone and say I've got developmental control disorder.
No,
they'll look at me and go, "What?"
Yeah,
Even though I do, and I've got the condition.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think we do need to come up with something that just puts it in a nutshell, just to make it easier for all of us who are asked, so what exactly is dyspraxia? Because I'm always at a loss, and I always feel like Matthew, you know, I left so much out, and it doesn't really get the message across, because it's not something you can easily put into a nutshell. So how about if anybody can just offer any suggestions, and then we could, between us, we can come up with something which is something that we can offer when people ask us, well, what exactly is it? Because I've never heard of it. Or actually, I think a few more people have nowadays, which is good.
Yeah, although I did have recently, and I can't believe this was kind of this side of the millennium, someone still did say to me, "Oh, dyspraxia, isn't that how dyslexics spell dyslexia?"
Oh no!
I just wanted to scream, because that's not something I'd heard in years. You know, someone had said that to me for about 10 years. I just thought, no, but yes, awareness is raising, but still some people just because the names are similar.
yeah, exactly. It ends in exia and it starts with dys.
Yeah,
well,
yeah, but the middle bit.
Dyspraxia doesn't end in exia.
There you go.
I'm having a bad
dyspraxia day today.
But no, I think part of the problem with that is because there are people who don't experience it themselves, trying to raise awareness, and they are possibly raising awareness of the condition, but not of what the condition is like, which I think makes all the difference. And it was like some people who were talking to us fairly recently about, they went to a dyspraxia awareness session, and there was someone who had, they were writing looking in a mirror.
That's right. Yes.
Can you explain to us?
Basically, it was they were. I think if I got this right, the instruction was they were had to write something, and but they weren't allowed to look at the paper in front of them. They had a mirror in front of them, and they had to write whatever it was they were instructed to write, but look at the paper through the mirror. And it was then said that was basically what it's like to have dyspraxia, looking through a mirror when you're writing.
Yeah, and it just isn't the case.
It was nothing like that.
All it does really is make writing difficult, but it doesn't describe or it doesn't illustrate what dyspraxia is like. And there was another one, doing buttons up with gloves on. Yeah, which also is not the same as doing buttons up with dyspraxia.
Yeah, and it's a very I admire anyone who wants to raise awareness of the condition. It's wonderful, because I think dyspraxia, the spectrum of it is one of the most least understood of the kind of neurological conditions. Yeah, like anything that in the neurodiverse conditions. That's a slightly controversial there, but from my perspective, it's certainly one of the least understood.
I think so.
I think.
Yeah.
So I would definitely applaud anyone's efforts who's trying to raise awareness of dyspraxia, whether they're dyspraxic or not. However, I think if you're kind of trying to understand the dyspraxic mindset, you can only, I feel, only really do that by talking to a dyspraxic person.
Yes.
You know, getting their opinions, their feelings, and even if they can't enunciate it properly, sometimes what they don't say can often be as illuminating as actually what they do say, and the emotion of it. Sometimes, because we get quite passionate about it sometimes, and actually how we're saying it and what we're not saying can often be even more potent, I think.
I think so too. Yeah, definitely.
That's something you kind of recommend in your training course. If someone else says to you, "What's it like?" or "How can I support a dyspraxic employee?"
Yeah.
You
ask them.
Exactly.
It's not rocket science. It's not difficult. And in schools as well. I mean, there's sometimes this awful power struggle between teachers and students. And I think it possibly goes against the grain to ask the student, how can you best be supported? Do you know how you can best be supported? But it seems radical, but it really shouldn't be, because it's fundamental. Who can know better how to help, how a person with dyspraxia can be helped than a person with dyspraxia, rather than someone else who theorises about it?
Exactly. Theories, scientific theories are all well and good for the global picture, but living with it day to day, that's another story, I think.
Yeah, most definitely.
I think definitely perhaps we should do a follow up to this vlog if we can get some feedback from people about kind of definitions of dyspraxia. I mean, we've talked about how we kind of vaguely talked about ourselves, but perhaps we can do a follow up where we can kind of try and bring it together on what people said.
Yeah, definitely. So please let us know how you deal with being asked the question, exactly what is dyspraxia, how does it affect you? Because if we can get a nice little selection of people's normal answers, if you like, so normal again, but in different contexts.
But isn't it funny though? We like you've got a brilliant 3-hour presentation and a training course. It is. I've seen it. I've seen the train notes. But we can deliver a 3-hour training course on dyspraxia to describe how it is. But to come up with a pithy 1-line answer as to what or 2-line answer what dyspraxia is, you'd think that would be easy, wouldn't you? You think that would be easy?
It should be.
It should be easy, but
it really isn't. And I suspect that there are lots of us who are in exactly the same situation. So it would be very helpful if we could come up with something we could all use if we want to.
Yeah.
It would be there, and that would do. Even make a note of it and keep it in your pocket or something.
Absolutely. So feedback, please. We'll put it on our YouTube channel, Facebook channel, etc. As before, comments down here as usual, and then we'll perhaps do a follow-up vlog in the next few months and collect the information. So, well, thank you very much for your time today. It's been lovely to virtually talk to you all. Hope we get some good feedback from this, and we'll see you again soon. Bye for now.
Bye.